What's going on, everyone? Today we're here with Olive Gachara. Now she is in Nairobi, Kenya. How I found out about her, I was shown a television show out of Nairobi called Lion's Den, and I thought it was quite interesting, right? When I looked at it, I said, oh, is this like a Kenyan version of Shark Tank?
I consider myself an entrepreneur by birth. I'm looking for good business across all industries. I am not afraid of high risk, high return business, but the numbers must make sense. Image, business etiquette, and good communication are very important to me. So come meet me in the den, but come prepared. The most important thing about Lion's Den is that you get smart money. You're not just getting investment just like that. It's angel investment. The people that will invest in you will walk the journey with you, and that almost guarantees you a more chance of success. Season 1 and 2 have really been exciting. I like the lady who came in as the entry heritage.
You need the area. You basically work on the back.
She knows the spa business back to back. So even as an investor, you're not coming to help her figure out what she's doing. You're just coming to offer support.
I'll offer you all of the money, the 1 million shillings for 30% of the business.
That really struck me as different. Then of course there's a few of the crazy ones that we still remember, like the guy who had smoke coming out of his hands and legs, and the juju guy. But season 2 we were much readier. We knew the type of businesses that would come into the den.
Hey Olive, I would love to invite you to Diani by the beach, in the cave where you and I can have a nice cozy dinner.
I think what I can see between season 1, 2 and 3, as you progress, is people are getting better with their numbers.
So where did you get that figure from? You just guessed?
Yeah.
Because now what people don't get is that it's exactly as you see it on TV. We have no idea who's coming down. We have no idea what they have to offer, and we literally have to make a decision in 30 minutes. At the end of the day, a business boils down to the numbers, especially when you're looking for financial support.
How much would it cost to make one ball?
1,800.
And you've not been able to make one ball?
I'm very much interested in businesses that have a social enterprise elements to them, but are not social enterprises. They're businesses, but at the same time, they're able to add value to the community.
So, I thought it was really interesting. Olive is one of the people that was on the show, and we want to talk to her about a few things as well with that and other things going on outside of Kenya. So, Olive, thank you for joining us on the show this morning.
Thanks for having me. Is it morning there? Oh my God, it's evening here.
Yes, it is actually 9:30 a.m.
Okay. It's 5:30 p.m. in case you're wondering. So you're like my last meeting of the day.
Yeah, see, Africa is in the future. We're in the past. That's just kind of how it works. If you want to look at
so
it.
So this is like time travel, right?
Yeah, I think you guys are about, 7 hours ahead of us here?
Yeah, definitely.
This
is like time travel.
Yeah. So, Olive, have you always been an entrepreneur? How long have you been an entrepreneur? Have you always been in business? I mean, how did you get involved with that?
So I've always been an entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 19. So, straight out of high school, I got into the hustle. It wasn't so cool then, entrepreneurship. It was, it's what people who sort of didn't seem to have other options did. Not that I didn't have other options. I just thought I wanted to start a business, and it was a modeling agency. So there's a lot of opportunity. The potential was there. So I started the agency almost just for fun. Hey, I'm taking a year out, between high school and college. Let me do this modeling agency. It'll keep me busy, keep me out of trouble, and that's how I'm where I am now.
So you say keep you busy and keep you out of trouble. It's like what you used to get in a lot of trouble, Olive?
Not really, but you know what I mean. Come on now.
No, I don't assume. I don't know what you got going on, Olive. I don't assume. I like to know. I mean, shoot, you was going out there with your friends, going to the club and all that?
Yeah, a little bit. I was a bit of, I could be a troublemaker if I wanted to. So, the modeling agency was great. It kept me busy, kept me working. Especially when you take a year out and you're sort of trying to figure out what you want to do with your life. I wanted to be a doctor at first. And then I realized that wasn't going to quite work for me. Too much time in school, and I didn't like school that much. So, yeah, it went really well. And by the time I was ready to go to college, I decided to do an entrepreneurship course instead, because I figured this can actually be a career plan. Although it wasn't as decorated entrepreneurship. It wasn't as decorated and cool as it is now, So it was a big risk at the time.
So let me ask you a question about women entrepreneurs in business in Kenya. Is that do you have a lot of women entrepreneurs there?
Yes, we do actually. I think 70% of small businesses actually run by women in Kenya and in Africa in general. So it's definitely where women find themselves playing a lot.
So in your field, what is your expertise in entrepreneurship?
Okay, so what's my expertise in entrepreneurship? Isn't entrepreneurship the expertise? No?
Well, what I'm asking is are you in the finance? Are you in expert
What do
import?
Yeah. So I run a fashion magazine called Couture Africa. Actually have it right here. So that's that. Can you see it?
Okay.
Yeah, so I run a fashion magazine. It's sort of East Africa's only fashion magazine. I'll send you a copy online. It's East Africa's only fashion magazine. It's been there for about 5 years. Before that, I started an image consultancy company. So I'm an image consultant by training, where we do corporate training and individual consultations on professional image, business etiquette, communication skills, customer service, customer communication, and personal branding. So it's soft skills. And before that, my first business, of course, was the modeling agency.
Also, you're an image consultant.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So if I was to talk to you offline about what do you think I could do to make myself be much better in presentation, you can assess me, right?
Definitely.
Oh,
Definitely.
boy, I know my audience probably laughing at that question. If I say, "Oh, please get with her. She needs to fix you."
Yeah, so in a nutshell, I'm an image consultant and a magazine publisher, and we do fashion events in Nairobi.
So you say you're East Africa's only fashion magazine, correct?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so the women that's featured in the magazine, are they just from Kenya? Are they from like Ethiopia? Like where are they? Your models are coming from?
They're from all over the place. The model that's on the cover that I showed you is actually from Berlin, strangely enough. So
Okay.
she's from Berlin, but she's working with an agency out of South Africa. So we work mostly with Kenyan models, Ugandan models a little bit, and international African models. She's African. She's half caste.
Okay, now let me
Mostly African.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Do also in your magazine, have you had African American women in your magazine?
No, actually, we haven't. Strangely enough.
Oh, well,
no.
See, that's something you're gonna have
Maybe
to open
one or
up.
two. Yeah, we do. Definitely. That's possibilities right there.
Well, see, this is why I asked that question. We are on
Mm-hmm.
joining and also building bridges, as Dr. Mumbi would say,
Mm-hmm.
between the continent and also through the diaspora. So
Yeah.
I asked that question because, in order for us to get together and unify, is that if we can do, things like fashion together, different
Mm-hmm.
businesses together with each other, it has to
Yeah.
start somewhere. So that's why I kind of asked that question.
Oh yeah. No. And it was a good question. Sorry.
So on a magazine, is it something that you're selling in stores or is it online only?
We sell it in stores and it's online as well. So online you can find it via Magster, and then there's the physical copy that we sell in store. We also send physical copies to the diaspora, to a few people, and to South Africa and to Uganda and Tanzania as well, and hopefully Rwanda next.
Okay, so your expertise running a magazine, so it's more so media, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so have you produced any television shows in that area?
No, I've been in television shows like Lions Den. That's airing. Lions Den actually airs next week. Season 3 comes out on the 4th of September. So I've been in television shows, but we've not done any of our own publications or any of our own productions. That's the next step for us. We're getting into fashion TV, which will be called Couture TV, of course, because the magazine is called Couture Africa. So definitely looking at putting a lot of fashion content on mainstream media as well as online. But I think that mainstream media has been neglected quite a bit when it comes to great content because everyone's going online. So when you turn on your television, and in Africa, it's still one of the biggest ways that media is consumed, there's not that much exciting content for people to consume. So that's our next forte, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, so, a lot of people are consuming things online. I know Kenya, from what I did my research, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, you guys have like the fastest internet on the continent in Kenya?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm sure if I come to Houston, I'd be like, your internet is so slow. Oh my God, what's happening? Why won't it load? But apparently, we didn't know that. Like, you don't realize how good your internet is until you travel. And you're like, oh, snap. Okay, I like my internet at home.
Yeah. So with it, since you have a faster internet, do the Couture magazine does it have its own app, like say in the Google Play and iTunes store? Since maybe people in Kenya on the phone a little bit more than maybe most in the continent.
Yes, you can download the Couture app both on iTunes and on the Google Play Store, which is the print magazine, a digital version of the magazine. So you can definitely download the app. And you can go to the website, which is an interactive online magazine, so to speak. It's www.coutureafricamag.com. And we're actually redoing it. We always sort of pull as much content from other African publishers as well. Because we realized, especially as an African woman, when it comes to beauty, when you're looking for beauty tips, beauty hacks, beauty this, beauty that, there's not as much as there should be on beauty for African women with color, African hair and that sort of a thing. So
yeah. So Olive, my challenge to you, Olive, is this: I want to see that African American feature, and I want to see the African Caribbean. You like the Dominican Republic. You got black people there. You have Afro Latino, like Brazilians. I mean, we need to see all of the diaspora in couture. I think that would be a good thing.
Do. I'm going to throw that challenge back to you. Send me like the one woman from Houston.
You want me to pick? You want me to pick someone? Maybe I ask the audience to pick somebody. How about that?
Yeah, you can ask the audience to pick somebody.
Because there's a lot of people. If you can find them clothed enough on Instagram, there's plenty of that going on too. It's not that hard.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll throw it back to you and tell you to pick and send us one person that you think we should feature in Couture Africa. Then we'll reach out to them and we'll get it done.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna ask you to help us with that because I can't pick that. So I'm gonna ask you guys to help us. Who I'm gonna put a poll out, and then we'll email Olive here and say, hey, see if you can reach out to this particular sister here in America and put it in the magazine.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, that'll be fun for the audience. So definitely outside of the magazine, is you family life. I mean, are you real active in your personal family? How is that? Do you have kids? Just to ask a question like that.
No, I don't have kids. I'm not married. So it's family for me is mostly my mother and my siblings, my older siblings, who two of whom live here. One lives in the UK, in London. So I do have a partner, so we spend a lot of time together. Spend a lot of time with my mom and with some of our close friends as well.
Now you mentioned the UK, and I notice a lot of people from the continent sometimes go to the UK. Now the question I have for you is, just as someone from looking in from America, everyone is going to the continent and trying to partner, do business, try to get access to the resources in the continent of Africa. Why is it that a lot of let's say Kenyans, some Kenyans, why are they going to the UK?
Most go to study. Yeah, so they go to study and then they eventually start working there, and some don't come back if they get good jobs. But then you see, that was the trend of maybe 10 years ago. They say, when 10, 20 years ago, Africa was a dark continent, and now Africa is the youngest continent and the continent with the most possibilities. So a lot of people are coming back to see what they can start and what they can do here. But the reason people go to the UK and even to the States is mostly for university. And then they stay there for 2-3 years, they come back and either get into employment here, they come and start a business. But mostly to get employed.
When I was at the African Union, I spoke to them, and they was saying about how if even some of us come to African nations with a American education or a degree, that a lot of us can actually get jobs in different countries. I mean, is that kind of true maybe for African Americans that may want to start maybe looking at Kenya for places to get jobs and degrees they probably can't even use here?
Yes and no. Kenya is one of the most educated countries in Africa, hands down. Because I'm a trainer, so I interact a lot with HR, with people in the HR field. And, like, for example, you walk into a bank and the HR director is going to tell you, they don't look at anybody who doesn't have a master's. Like, because everybody is so educated, so they raise the cutoff to like masters and above. So
Wow.
in Kenya, people are very highly educated. It's actually insane because, you know, you do your undergrad, you try and get a job, you don't get a job, you go back to school. So the competition is as high as it gets, I think.
Okay, so basically in Kenya, it's about being competitive in the area of education and knowledge, versus it's no one that has an advantage just because of who they are. That's what you're saying, right? It's more merit based.
Yeah, so to get in, it starts with education. Like, you know, how educated are you? You know, so the cutoff levels are different. And then now after that, once you get your foot in the door, then you try and wiggle your head in. So that becomes more about your personality. But first, the papers are really, really important, mostly just because of how highly educated people are. And that's why entrepreneurship has also become so big. It's become the next thing that people do because the rate of unemployment is so high, or there's not that many great jobs that some of these highly educated people could do. And they're like, you know what, I want to start my own business. Or why should I go and work in marketing for that company for this much when I can start a marketing consultancy because I have my American education and my American work experience? So that's when a lot of entrepreneurs are sort of coming from.
Okay, so you say I heard the unemployment is kind of high in Kenya. Why is that?
Why? Because I think we're churning out more people than the industry can absorb. We're churning out more people because if you look at 20 years ago, education was really emphasized. Primary, tertiary, and university education was really emphasized. So we're churning out, you know, education is really big here. So everyone's getting educated, but there's just not enough industry or corporates to absorb everyone that's coming out of the school system.
Okay, so you said more people got educated, and so it's more people basically with degrees that don't have a job. Basically, what you're saying, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So the only way they can kind of get jobs unless they start their own businesses.
Sort of, yeah. And if small businesses like Olive's many small businesses, they now employ other people because the way I look at it is if 1,000 people start businesses, and they employ 10 people each, they've already created 10,000 jobs.
Right. And I think that's actually the best route to go is business
Exactly.
ownership.
But successful businesses, because another thing is, I think it's about 80% of businesses started in Nairobi alone failed within the first 2 years.
Well, it's the same thing in America. Small business, within 2 years, that's the point that you possibly can
That's
fail.
the cutoff point. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how it is. But outside of that, with the unemployment, and I know your president, I think he's here now, or I definitely
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, he was talking with Trump. So what do you think about that your president is talking with Trump?
I think that's kind of cool. It's the second president to get his way to the American White House. So I think that's kind of cool. I know the States is a big market for a lot of Kenyan exports. That was important for him as well. So it was an important conversation for him to have. So, you know, I'll catch up on the news tonight and see what came out of that. But it's quite exciting.
Well, from what I can kind of tell you what came out of it. He signed an agreement with some American companies. One, Trump was talking about helping him build a superhighway from Nairobi to Mombasa. Something with some food and trading, something with energy. So some big thing.
Yeah.
I think something about 24 billion shillings worth of money is going to be going toward Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was 2 deals that were signed of $240 million each, right?
Yeah, something like, I know I heard something about 24 billion shillings, something like that.
Yeah.
That number somewhere around there. And I know now, did he get a chance to come over here when Barack Obama was president? Oh no.
Yes, he did, I believe, once.
Oh, he came once. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but Barack didn't come. Barack only came here after.
Okay. Well, what about China? Yeah. Is China real heavy in Nairobi?
Oh, it's massive. Oh my God, it's insane. Because there's a lot of development going on in Nairobi right now. So it's very chaotic. In fact, we were talking about it over the weekend because we was at some sort of high up restaurant and we're just looking at how terrible our landscape looks. And we're like, it's fine, we're in the building phase. So China is in a big way. They're doing lots of buildings, lots of apartments, lots of hotels. They built the railway. So the railway is from Nairobi to Mombasa, where the road is sort of going to be parallel to that. I guess Trump has committed to help build. So they've built the railway, and they've done quite a number of the superhighways in Kenya. So a lot of development's been going on in the last 5 years, which I think is great.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that when I was in Addis Ababa. It's like the Chinese are throwing up these skyscrapers like left and right. I mean, over there.
I know.
I mean,
I know.
It was looking like downtown Houston. You know, like whoa, look at all this. You know, so you say it's the same thing happening in Nairobi, basically.
Exactly the same thing. Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
it's now, are the Chinese hiring Kenyans to help build these projects?
They're hiring Kenyans, yes, but on a more junior level. So like the manual labor will be Kenyans, but all the supervisors and stuff will still be Chinese, unfortunately. And that was actually an issue that had been raised some time back. But for some of the other projects, like for example, the railway line, they're calling it the standard gauge railway, the Chinese will run it themselves for I think 10 years. Then they hand it over to the Kenyans. So still at the senior level, they're still quite in control.
Yeah, 'cause I heard that story, you know, about the railway that came out that Kenyans were being mistreated racially, you know, by the Chinese. You hear anything about that particular story?
Yes, I heard about it.
And what came out of that toward the end?
Nothing much came out of it, really. I think, just like your whole PR conversation of we're investigating and we look into the matter. But I'm also not very sure just to what extent that was. But, we've heard quite a number even of Chinese-run companies where they mistreat and they insult Kenyans. And I think also to some extent it becomes a thing about culture because, Africans are we're very conservative in how we talk. So if you use certain words in your conversation, especially in a work environment, you're going to be, it's like you're insulting me. What is that? But, other cultures will be a bit more blasé or a bit more casual about using foul language, for lack of a better word. So, and we take these things really personally. Yeah.
Okay. So that's what it was, more so like language, because from what I heard, they were like hitting them or making them do push-ups or something to that effect.
Oh, I didn't see that part. No, I didn't see that part. Oh my goodness. No, that totally missed me.
Yeah, because I'm like, it couldn't be me. I said, you're not gonna put your hand on me because I come from the hood. You put your hand on me, I'm gonna mess you up.
Yeah, no, I missed that part. I missed that part definitely.
Yeah, like I said, we definitely promote, African Americans. We're really promoting them to get passports and go into the continent. This is something that we definitely promote here.
That's great.
What would be when African Americans show up in Kenya? What is the overall response, that you know of, from the people that maybe you heard or because the Ethiopia was awesome. Everybody told me welcome home and this is your home. We want you to be here. So what is the overall response possibly in Kenya to African Americans?
Like how will we welcome you?
Yeah, that's the overall response.
Okay. No, I think we're very warm people. We can be warm and cold at the same time. We still have our little we still have some British tendencies, for lack of a better word. But, we think African American, you'll be welcomed with open arms, I believe. I think very many Kenyans are not as racially averse. Like, they won't welcome you more because, like, oh, welcome home, brother. And it's not going to be like that. But they'll definitely welcome you and you'll feel right at home.
Yeah, because I try to tell people that because they have a propaganda here in America, unfortunately, for people who haven't traveled to the continent and say, oh, well, those Africans, they don't like us, no way. I'm like, well, have you ever been for them to even say they don't like you? I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah, no. I think so the only time we've had, at least not in Kenya, like, for example, I know if you go to a country like South Africa, you'll hear people saying that Black South Africans are not that welcoming to other Africans from the country, from the continent. But that's mostly because they think you're going to take their jobs, and it even became this whole big thing where they were kicking out Africans from other countries from their country. There was a bit of a spat between Kenya and Tanzania. Tanzanians are not very warm to Kenyans. Again, because they think you're coming to take their jobs. Apparently, they think Kenyans are arrogant and like we think we are cleverer than everybody else because we are so educated. But generally, unless it's in like occasions like those where there's actual issues that people have to deal with, we are welcoming folk. I was in Lagos the other day for the first time. I can't believe it was my first time to go to Lagos, but I was like, oh my God, this place is exactly like Nairobi. And women saying like, you all look like Kenyans. Like he looks like he'd be from this tribe. He looks like he'd be from this tribe. And it was like one big happy family. The only difference, of course, is that Nigerians are much louder and animated than us Kenyans, which was fantastic to watch. But I think we are all very warm and welcoming to everybody. Like we don't have drama or baggage. We're cool people.
Well, you mentioned tribe just now. And do you feel, based on just the global and political climate, because I know Africans throughout the diaspora, we all have our version of tribalism. Yes, African Americans we don't know the actual tribes we came from, but I look at our version of tribalism as, we do it most on religion. Like, well, I'm Christian, I'm Muslim, I'm Hebrew Israelite, I believe in Kemetic teachings. We break off in all these different sections. It's like tribalism for us here too. So do you think that for Africa to rise, right? Do you think we should put aside tribalism and don't focus on just being connected as African people throughout the diaspora?
Yes, definitely. I didn't even know that you have like religionism. I didn't know that you guys were like divided along religion. But for Africa to rise, yes, we definitely need to be more connected, to be more together. For example, in Kenya, once people put aside, our generation is not very tribal. My mother's generation is quite tribal. I remember my cousin was getting married and her parents weren't very happy because the partner, the husband, was from a different tribe, So we're just like, we didn't even get that baggage. So some people in our generation are a bit tribal, but the next generation, the children are coming, they don't even know tribe. The problem is half of them don't even speak in their mother tongue. So if they're brought up that way, just as Kenyans, they'll grow up in a completely different Kenya than the Kenya that we've grown up in. But once you start saying Kikuyu, Yoluo, Yoluya, then it sort of breaks everything apart. Same thing for Africans, Like I tell you about, like when I was in Nigeria, we were just all Africans and we all happened to be in Lagos because we're both from different countries. We just happened to be in Lagos. So there's that togetherness of, we're Africans, we're here and we're happy and we're building and we're moving and we're learning. So it's the same thing for being in the United States. If you're just there as African Americans, it makes everything better, everything simpler, I think.
Right, because I've talked to a lot of African American men, and some of them say, "Yeah, I want to go to the continent and find a wife." Some do say that. So
why?
Why? Well, everyone has their reasons.
Okay.
I'm not going to go into those reasons because I don't want to get in trouble. But what I will say to that, so if an African American man or even a woman, go to the continent and they find them a husband or a wife, how would that play into the tribalism? Because African Americans have no connection to it.
Well, we're sort of past that level of tribalism. Like I said, that was probably something from our parents' generation. So right now, everybody intermarries. It doesn't really matter. The other day, celebrities, there was someone who was commenting about celebrities not marrying Kenyan women. So there was one artist who married a woman from Burundi, and the week later, another was marrying a woman from Uganda. And, last weekend, I know there was a wedding between a Nigerian and a Kenyan. So I think we're completely past that now. Everyone just wants to be happy and to make money, hence entrepreneurship.
See, I like that. Be happy and make money. That's my kind of things to think about. Oh yeah. So Olive, could you tell people how to get to the magazine and possibly if they want to contact you and ask you some questions, how can they do that?
Okay. So the magazine is available on Magster. You know Magster, right? The online store. So the magazine is available on Magster. You can also go to our website, www.coutureafricamag.com. And you can drop me an email, olive@coutureafricamag.com. I'll respond within a couple of days, but I'll respond anyway. So I'll say that again. It's www.coutureafricamag.com. Follow us on Facebook. and Instagram and Twitter at Couture Africa. You can follow me at Olive Gachara. Olive is olive like olive oil, and Gachara is Gachara. So at Olive Gachara on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter.
All right, and also Olive, we're gonna ask the audience who they elect to want to be a African American representative in a magazine.
Yes,
and we're gonna get Kellen to email you that name once they pick it.
Okay, fantastic.
All right, we want to definitely make sure that Women Through the Diaspora is connecting even with the magazines and fashion on the continent. So, Olive, thank you for joining us on the show today. We greatly appreciate it. It was good having this conversation with you. And what day does the show come on, Lions Den, and could maybe some of us watch it online?
So it comes on every Tuesday from next week, Tuesday. So every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. EAT. You can definitely watch it online. I think it is on KTN Live, so the station that it's on. So that's KTN Kenya. You can be able to watch it live every Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Yes.
All right. So make
Starting
sure.
September.
Okay, to go to ktn.com. That's one of the stations over there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And
KTN Kenya.
Yeah, see if you can catch it. Or catch some episodes that's possibly on YouTube as well. So, Olive, thank you for joining us on the show. We greatly appreciate it, and you have a great evening.
Thank you for having me.